Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on our website. I want to ask each of the panelists, what do you wish you'd said on last week's show, but you didn't say? Chris?
We discussed the voucher decision by Judge Hobgood and the resulting court battle that's ongoing. One of the things I didn't get to say is that there are some schools in North Carolina now that are really borderline home schools that are eligible for vouchers. One in Davidson County has 3 students, 1 teacher. It's an annex of a woman's house. And even Representative Hardister, who is one of the co-sponsors of the voucher legislation, says he's concerned that this will actually allow home schools to get vouchers, which was not the intent at all. So he was trying to fix it behind the scenes this session. It'd be interesting to see if that comes up next year.
Rufus, what do you wish you'd said you didn't say?
I wish I'd said that I remember back when I was AG that there was a little thing called the Wilmington 10 case, and the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals had said it was one of the worst cases they'd ever seen on appeal, fraught with prosecutorial misconduct, everything bad you could say about North Carolina. And we were being battered by 60 Minutes, by everybody in the world. And it came back to me, and I directed my staff that we would not appeal that to the Supreme Court. And there is a precedent for General Cooper doing that. And I remember the Chief Justice said, "What's gotten into you, Susie Sharp?" And I said, "Judge, we've been made a fool of long enough. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals said that was the worst case they'd ever come up on for prosecutorial misconduct, and I'm not going to appeal it."
Wow. Bob Moore, what do you wish you'd have said you didn't say?
Well, I guess I would address the separation of powers issue. Governor McCrory obviously has immediate concerns for his governorship, but to a certain extent, he has a responsibility to the executive power of the state. For future governors, yes. And so I think his concerns and the potential for litigation over breaches of the separation of powers, encroachment by the legislature into the executive branch is important for him to do, not just in the context of his administration, but for the long-term welfare of the balance of powers.
John, what do you wish you'd have said?
Tom, we were talking about legal issues partially from a political standpoint. A lot of times Democrats or Republicans will look to, for example, change the rules when they don't like how things are going, assuming that those rule changes will work out for them. Well, what we should have learned by now is that it is difficult to predict all the outcomes of rule changes, and a lot of times people don't get what they think. I'll give you a quick example. In the early 2000s, Democrats got frustrated. They were losing Supreme Court and even some Court of Appeals races. At that time, the races were partisan, and they were concerned that people were just voting Republican, and they'd vote Republican for judge, and that wasn't good for them and or good for the public interest. So they took the party labels off, assuming that would be in their interest. But I would argue that there were moments like 2006, 2008, where if our judicial elections had been partisan, Democrats would have won more seats. So you just never know, and you got to be careful when you assume you can predict the outcome of something.
Be careful what you ask for. You might get it.
Or you might not. You might get something completely different.
Right. Thanks for watching the After Spin. More video all during the week on ncspin.com.